family and friends. Welcome back to a new taste, healthy kitchen series. Right here today we're going back over the vegan soul food meal, and of course it's the vegan Louisiana style Creole soul food meal. So what I would like to discuss with y'all today on this episode. Now this is actually the second part of the vegan soul food meal. In the first part you noticed that we went over the Louisiana style wild rice recipe. Now this one right here, it is actually the vegan macaroni and cheese meal. This one right here is like a Cajun style. It's very good. And when I tried it for the first time, I actually ate, I ate about maybe about 3 or 4 pieces this big. But it's very filling and it's very good too. And I want to mention to y'all too, what we're gonna start with on this one is the chickpea noodles. These are actually elbow noodles made from chickpeas. So of course, again, back to the alkaline of the body. So this right here does not make you acidic or make you have any heartburn, any digestive issues or anything like that. So this is actually an electric food. So anything that's electric is going to give your body energy, and it's going to have certain types of minerals in it, like copper, iron. Those type of minerals will be in these, of course, these type of foods, which is we call electric foods. So copper, selenium, those type of minerals will be in these types of foods. So actually you get good fiber from this also. Chickpeas, of course, is a bean. So the elbow noodles are made from the bean itself. Okay, so then the next thing we'll go over, I want to show you the box too, so that way y'all kind of have an idea of what you're looking for. Elbows made from chickpeas. And of course you can see here you get 25 grams of protein. You get 13 grams of fiber from this also. So hey, you can't beat it. But what we're gonna go with, the measurements on this today is 16 ounces. So 2 boxes of these will give you this measurement or this amount of noodles, elbow noodles, okay? And of course you will pre-boil them like I did. It takes 8 to 9 minutes to boil these. And I just put a little sea salt in them to keep them from sticking as much. And then I will use avocado oil, which is very good for, I can show you on the bottle too, it's good for high heat. So this is one of the high heat cooking oils, up to 500 degrees, that you can cook with, that won't be as bad, of course, as like canola oil or some of the trans fats that you get from those other types of oils. Safflower oils, which gives you too much omega-6. Too much omega-6 can just throw the whole body off balance. So this right here is gonna give you a more balanced oil. So you would get like omega-3, 6, and 9, for example, from like hemp seed oil or avocado oil. You get different kinds of benefits from each one. Okay, so I'm gonna keep moving forward. The next thing that we're gonna cover is all of the milks that are gonna go inside of this. This is actually gonna be our vegan cheese sauce in here. And this is, it's similar to doing a regular macaroni and cheese, soul food macaroni and cheese. You would create your, put your cheese sauce in Velveeta or whatever, whatever type of cheese that you choose to go with. So in this case, I'm creating my own. Of course, it's non-dairy, meat-free. And so, but again, it's all about taste. And as long as it tastes good, you won't have a problem with, eating it or what have you. So the next thing we'll go with is, we're gonna cover is the coconut milk creamer. As you can see, this is a dairy-free coconut milk creamer. It's the original. And I like this brand personally. I think it works very good. I'm going to use this whole pint. So this is 1 pint of that. And then you'll notice here that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 coconut milk. And they're organic, of course. I'm going to move these out of the way so y'all can get a good look at those. And this one right here is called Simple, no gar. Gar gum is something that, of course, is not a good ingredient for us. It's not healthy for us. So I personally like to go with this brand because they do offer those. These types of cans without gar gum in them, so I think it works good. And if you notice in the back here, I have what you call the neat egg. Anytime you want to use an egg, a natural vegan egg substitute, this is a really good replacement for eggs. And of course, you can get 18 eggs out of this one bag, so it'll last you for a while, depending on how much baking and stuff like that you do. So this one right here, as you can see on the back, 1 tablespoon is equal to 1 egg. So in this right here, we're going to use 3 tablespoons. So it's equivalent to 3 eggs, of course. Okay, so of course that I love this brand, by the way, and it is made from chia seeds and garbanzo beans. So of course you're getting your good fats from your chia seeds, which we talked about in one of my previous videos. If you refer back to it, you have omega-3, 6, and 9 in chia seeds, which is good for brain health. and of course keeping everything functioning normal in the body when it comes out to lubricating joints and so forth. So okay, what we're going to go over next is, of course, you're going to add a tap of black pepper in there. Parsley flakes and the smoked paprika are going to be the topping at the very end. I'm just covering everything as I come in this direction. I'll go back around and we'll start with the onion powder and the garlic powder over here, which I'm going to use in the place of nutritional yeast. Personally, I don't like nutritional yeast, and you can get the same flavor from using just the raw garlic powder and the onion powder. The mix together will give you the same exact flavor, if not an even more cheesier flavor, because it's just, to me, it's more natural. Okay, so like this right here is white pepper. Okay, the white pepper is, of course, it adds like a little bit of a, like if you smell this, it smells so good. It's like a very strong peppery taste. But you know, if you put enough in this macaroni and cheese, it'll also add a different twist than what the black pepper would give it also. Okay, so if you come on over to your Cajun season, of course, I have a lot of Cajun season. I like mine to be hot, a little spicy. Not too spicy, but it's the perfect amount of measurements for myself. But again, you can adjust your measurements as needed. And in this right here, I put 5 tablespoons of Cajun seasoning blend. And we have here smoked paprika. Okay, this is Oakwood smoked paprika. Anytime you want a smoke flavor, you can use that. You can use hickory smoke, liquid smoke. Liquid smoke is a very good, substitute also for that smoke flavor too. So if you find one that's all natural, hey, more power to you. I think you can use that too and still get the same effect. Okay, now this right here is cayenne pepper. Okay, again, I'm gonna add a little bit more spice to mine. That's 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. We're gonna come on over here to the garlic cloves. These garlic cloves are pretty strong. I actually got these from the flea market in Tallahassee, Florida, from David Gaines shop. So it's Gaines Produce at, of course, the Tallahassee flea market. So he has some really strong garlic. I just want to let you know, plant that seed, because it's hard to find some good garlic today. And again, it's an antifungal, which means it helps get rid of parasites in the body. So anyway, so that's gonna go in there also. And of course, that's 6 cloves of garlic. Okay, and if you come on over here to your right, you'll see the tahini butter. Tahini butter is made from sesame seeds. So the sesame seeds, they're good immune boosters. So this right here, the tahini butter is a good way to get it in. It's gonna make the macaroni and cheese very creamy and just taste good. Gotta miss my word, taste good. Anyway, so this right here is gonna be really good, and what I like about this tahini butter is it's very low in sodium. So as I was saying, this tahini butter has low sodium, so of course that's what I like about this one. It's gonna make the macaroni and cheese sauce very creamy. So we're gonna move forward to the sea salt. This is the pink Himalayan sea salt, which is pretty high in minerals. It has magnesium. Again, I mentioned before in my previous video how it helps cleanse the blood, purify the system. So that's what one of the purposes of salt is. So of course that's the salt. And this is actually, I went with instead of 6 teaspoons of salt, which is an ounce of salt, I went with a little bit less. I went with about a ½ ounce of salt actually. So you can go with more, but the recipe, you can use up to 1 ounce. So it depends on your salt level and how much you can handle. Okay, so if we move forward, you see the mustard powder here is what I go with. Instead of using mustard, I'll mix the two. Like you see here, I have spicy brown mustard. I'll mix the two. I'll mix the mustard powder with the spicy mustard too, the spicy brown mustard. So it's like, it depends on how you like it. You use a regular mustard. You don't have to use a spicy mustard if you're not a spice fan like myself. So you notice here too with the mustard powder, I use 3 teaspoons, and 3 teaspoons of mustard powder is pretty much equivalent to half the amount. Like, in other words, you could do double that amount in regular mustard. Okay, so you can use the regular mustard and get the same results. I just chose to go with the powder. Okay, so if you come on over here, this of course is pretty much everything laid out. And we're gonna go ahead and move forward from here as far as starting to pour everything into the blender. Again, we're creating a cheese sauce, a vegan cheese sauce. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the base. My base will be the organic coconut milk. So I'm gonna go ahead and shake this up. And from here, like I said, I'm gonna use the onion powder and garlic powder, and quite a bit of it, to replenish what I would have been using for the nutritional yeast. Now, one thing I want to say about the nutritional yeast, The reason why I don't use nutritional yeast is because it's still, in my opinion, a form of yeast. And with it being like that, you know, it's still, like, if you have any candida issues or yeast situations, which yeast is only a parasite in the body, I feel that you're eating it. Why eat it if, you know, if it's going to create the problem? So I'd rather not eat anything with yeast in it that will cause the yeast to grow, and which, you know, everyone knows that yeast is pretty much the cause of a lot of disease. So yeast is a parasite, and I believe that nutritional yeast is another form of yeast. So they said that it's dead, but I believe different. But I'm just kind of letting y'all know it worked for me. Okay, so yeah, and it works for me as far as doing it this way. Again, with the ginger, ginger, garlic powder and onion powder. But yeah, ginger is also another good herb too, that you can use in a lot of recipes too. And this one, it doesn't call for ginger, but ginger is an anti-inflammatory herb. You went over that in one of my previous videos also. You can cook with it, you can use it in smoothies, you can juice with it. I mean, it has so many benefits to that too. You know, it just has a lot of good benefits to the body. So I'm gonna go ahead and scrape all of that out of there. Put that into the blender. Then I'm gonna go with the other 2 cans. Again, this is a very rich, very rich. Everyone knows that your flavor comes from your fat. So your fat is like what gives everything the flavor. That's why we liked it, you know, putting like pork, meat, and our, you know, collard greens, stuff like that, because that's where your flavor comes from. So in this case right here, let's say if you don't eat meat anymore, your flavor would now come from like your coconut milk or your coconut, you know, full fat cans, like this stuff right here. So it's definitely interesting. It's an experience, because it's like you can try it and you won't think it'll be good, but it actually tastes just as good. And sometimes in certain cases, certain things start to taste better. And I think it's because you use a lot of the real herbs and spices, which help too. So I want to go ahead and pull everything over. Yeah. And to thin it out, again, I say you can use a larger blender. Sometimes I decide to go with a larger blender where I can fit more in there. Just see, I had just start out with 3 cans in this case. So, but a lot of times you can use judgment with this stuff and kind of taste it as you go along and see what works out for you. That's all I do sometimes. Okay. So I use a little bit of So Delicious coconut milk creamer. So you can use this too for those of you who do like coffee, or, you know, sometimes you don't have to drink coffee. Like if you, like I know myself, I don't like the caffeine. So I'll get certain herbal teas and put it with that, you know, and you still get like actually a coffee effect, if that's what you're looking for. All right, so depends on what herb, of course, you will boil. But this right here is going to be the oil that I'm going to add in. This, again, I say this is avocado oil. Avocado oil, to me, I like it a lot better than most oils, especially when it comes to baking and frying and sauteing. This and grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil is real good, like if you're trying to do like what I'll show you in the next video, or one of the next videos. It actually shows you how to fry. See, I pour a little bit of oil to get started, and the rest of the oil I'm gonna save for when I'm blending, and I'm gonna pour it in slowly, and that'll cause the texture to thicken. I like to start with just a little bit though to get started. Okay. All right. Over here. Now, time for our egg replacer. Will get mixed in when it gets to put in this bowl. So I'm going to put it right beside there so I'll remember to do that. And I'm going to start out with most of this, let's see, onion powder. And then we'll add the rest of our ingredients from there. Okay? As you can see, I'm going to add in, so far it's 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3. I know you're like, wow, that's a lot. Actually, it is, but this is where your flavor comes from mainly. The cheesy flavor you want, so. right. And by the way, this whole measurement, this whole bag is really like about, and as y'all notice, I'm gonna start blending this first, and then I'm gonna divide the recipe up. Okay, since the blender is not quite big enough, you can do it in that way too. You can do it 2 different ways. If you have a big enough blender, knock it all out at one time if you can. That'd be best too, so. And of course, y'all know I have to add the rest of the ingredients in, so I'm gonna start blending this. And then what I'll do is I'll find a bowl like this one. So let me grab that from in here. And that mixture will go in here. We'll take the other half and mix it in there also. Start out on low as always. Before I crank it up, I want y'all to be able to hear what I'm saying. And then from there, it'll blend and then we'll stop. And then we'll pour it in the bowl, okay? So give me 1 second. Take the lid back off. As you can see right now, my mixture is still kind of thin. We have not added all of the ingredients. And remember, the ingredients I want that makes a big difference is the oil. That's going to thicken it up a lot. So I'm going to take most of this mixture, not all of it. As you can see how thin but creamy the mixture is already without the oil. Imagine with the oil. Imagine with all of the other ingredients like the tahini butter, which will add that creamy, thick texture that you want. That's what is going to kind of create a cheese sauce effect. So I'm going to leave those measurements in there. All right. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to add the rest of the onion powder. I'm just going to dump it on out. By the way, this amount of onion powder, so you'll know, I just went by tablespoons to show y'all how many tablespoons, but this right here, so you kind of have an idea, is about 2/3 of a cup, okay, of onion powder. And usually I go to the bulk section, because you get stuff a lot cheaper that way too in the stores. So remember, you can save money that way. Sometimes they actually charge you for extra for the packaging. So whenever you purchase herbs and stuff like that. Okay. This is the garlic powder. This is about the same amount of measurements. I try to keep them even as far as the garlic powder and onion powder. All right. So. Okay, the next step, of course, is the onion powder. We're continuing on with the onion powder. The last time, the last ingredient that we went over was the garlic powder. So in this case, of course, like I said, I like to go equal measurements of both. So we're gonna go ahead and start dropping in our onion powder. As you see, it's about the same amount as the garlic powder. So somewhere around 2/3 of a cup or about half a cup. You can go either route. Depends on how cheesy you want your flavor to be. And remember, the onion powder really gives it the cheesy flavor, and all of this too helps thicken the sauce up, the cheese sauce up, until the point where it's like really, really creamy. So that's how you want it. And then, as you notice, the consistency in this batch will be a lot thicker than this one, so it's gonna balance out. And that's how you get that, again, that cheesy texture. So I'm gonna go throw this in the garbage. And what we're gonna do next is we're gonna blend this amount first, and then I'll add in everything else. And of course, I'll incorporate some of it already in the mixture, into this mixture that was already pre-made already. Okay? So the next thing we're gonna do is blend it. Okay? So I always start it out on low so that way it won't overflow or anything. Make sure the top is on good, and we're gonna go ahead and start blending. Okay, I'm cutting it off so that way I can actually stir it in real good, because the onion powder, remember the onion powder that's in here with everything else is going to make this portion be a lot thicker than that portion. So we're going to incorporate the both together, and again, that will make your cheese sauce be the exact texture that it should be. You don't want it too thick, you don't want it too thin, but you want it creamy enough to where the macaroni noodles come out like a really, really, really good vegan macaroni and cheese. Okay? And that's soul food. Soul food, Louisiana, New Orleans style. Okay, so here we go. Blend some more. You notice I cut the variable down, and now I'm about to put it on high blend, so that way it can blend up some of the oil that was in here too, because remember there is avocado oil in here too, which made it thicken up a lot more. So here we go. Okay, you'll notice the consistency has changed a lot. I want y'all to see the consistency of this cheese sauce so far, and where we have it, what level it's on. So imagine this same consistency added in with, incorporated with what we already have pre-measured and mixed up. So the next thing we're gonna work on is adding in the herbs and spices and your garlic powders, and your garlic cloves, not powders. We already added in the powder. Sorry, the cloves. Excuse me. All right. So let's go ahead and add this in here. Actually, go ahead and rinse that off. And notice I try as much as I can to clean as I go. I don't do it all the time, but it's best to do it if you can. It saves you a lot of headache in the end when you're trying to kind of run around and do everything else that you need to do in the kitchen. So as I remember, I do it often. If I remember, I do. So, all right. This is going to be added in the last portion. So what I'm going to do from this point is the spicy brown mustard. I'm going to start with that and work my way to the mustard powder. Remember, this is spicy brown mustard. This is only 1 teaspoon, of course. Okay, and I'm going to put it in here. This is where all of your flavor is going to come from. Your spicy brown mustard, your smoked paprika, your Cajun season, your garlic cloves, of course. And you're getting fresh garlic cloves in this too, so that's a good thing. Remember, garlic is a natural antibiotic and it's a natural antifungal. So it kills any fungus, yeast, candida. Those are parasites. It kills those in the body. Now, what do they cause to happen in the body? Believe it or not, they contribute to cancer in the body. So it'll help anybody dealing with those issues. And so if you want to try to help, deal with the condition naturally, those are one of the routes you can take to help the situation. Okay, so here we are with the mustard. Okay, go ahead and rinse this off again. And see, as you add in your mustards and paprika, you'll notice the color of the cheese sauce will even change as you go along. It'll become more of a yellow type of color, like cheese. And actually, I want y'all to stay tuned too, because in the next one, on the next part of this video, I'm going to show you how to make the cheese. It's like a vegan sharp cheddar block, okay, which is what they normally do. They put that on top of macaroni cheese. So we're going to actually create. You notice I put the garlic cloves in. Now I'm adding in the tahini butter. And if you look at one of my previous videos, I can let you know more benefits about the tahini butter. I talk about how the good fats are good for not only the brain, but pretty much helping regulate the whole system. You need it not only for brain health, but you need it to lubricate the joints, and so many more benefits to these good fats. Okay, so you don't get enough good fats in your body, your skin and everything suffers. It actually creates dry skin and dandruff and all different types of situations. Eczema. These good fats help people that are children that are dealing with eczema. So remember, that's another natural way to help that situation too. Okay, you notice I'm trying to clean as I go. All right, and then we're gonna get right to the last few ingredients, and we're gonna blend it, and I'll show you the rest of the next few steps, because there are only a few more left. Now once you get this understood as far as how to do this recipe, now without having to look at measurements, and it'll save you a lot of time. So it's actually a quick recipe right now. We're taking time out to kind of go over everything with you all, but once you learn it, you got it, and you don't have to spend much time on it. Well, it's like 45 minutes in the oven, but other than the oven time, really your prep time is about 15 to 20 minutes tops. Okay, so you're talking about 15 to 20 minutes of your time. If you're doing other things in the kitchen, that'll be a perfect time to throw it in the oven, so that way you can be working on something else. Okay, not waste all your time. I don't want to do this. You're in here forever. You're like, okay, I got other things to do. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop in the sea salt, the pink Himalayan pink sea salt, which again has a natural source of iodine. And you want to look on the label every time you buy one of these, your sea salt, because it'll let you know if it supplies the iodine that you need. It'll say, well, it does not supply, or this one does supply. You definitely want to look at that. And sometimes you have certain companies that just don't supply it, and you have certain ones that do. Okay, so you definitely want the ones that do supply it, because it helps support, again, ladies, it helps support a natural way of supporting your thyroid function in a good way. Okay, so all right, clean this up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put in the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so then we have your Cajun season. I'm gonna go with this 5 tablespoons of Cajun season. I'm dropping it all in. Remember, this and that color right there will cause it to turn like more of an orange, like kind of orange color. Okay, so I got that in there. Let's run my bowls out. Keep moving forward. All right. And the next thing we're gonna do is add in smoked paprika, the Oakwood smoked paprika. This is some good stuff. If y'all want some smoke flavoring with no barbecue or no, nothing like that's synthetic, you can get this all natural from the health food store. And just look for all natural ingredients. That's all. It doesn't take much. It's like, if y'all like to go to Whole Foods or Lucky's Market, any of those types of stores, always look for the sales. Look for the sales, and they'll save you. It's worth the investment, in other words. Remember, paprika, again, I discussed about the carotenoids in paprika, which is the same thing that are in carrots, okay, which helps with the eye health. So this is another good thing. So everything that you're eating is going to help with a function in your body that you need it to help with. So you're gonna add in the cayenne pepper. And remember, I like mine kind of spicy, so you can adjust your measurements as needed. Depends on how spicy you want it. So I'm going to put that in there real quick. And I'm gonna rinse this out, and then we'll move forward on everything else. We're almost done. We have like the white pepper, and remember, those are going to be the outside as far as like topping it with everything, and making sure you have your presentation right and everything. It gives you it gives the eye like you really want to try it. So you really want to try it whenever it looks good on the outside first. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is incorporate the white pepper, and then we're gonna add our oil in as it blends last. Okay, which I have it over there in the cup already. We did half the oil, remember, or a little bit over half the oil. So white pepper, you notice I'm not putting a whole lot, but I do like to add more if I kind of like taste it at the very end to see if it's not only the texture but the flavor is like going towards where I want it to go. So that's how you know whether you can tweak it or not. You kind of like that's like about a teaspoon. So I'm gonna leave it there for now, because white pepper, you can't overdo it and it'll come too bitter. It tastes too bitter whenever you finish it. So you don't want it to have that bitter taste. So all right. So the next thing I'm going to add, I'm going to pull that forward, because that's going to go inside of the macaroni noodle mixture with the cheese sauce, which is the egg replacer. Remember, this is what you use in the place of an egg whenever you need things to bind together. You're doing any baking, macaroni and cheese, lasagna, cookies, cakes. If you do not eat dairy, this is a perfect substitute for dairy. It's called the neat egg. Okay, so there we go on that. So now we're going to go ahead and blend. All right. To a certain point, it stops blending, so that's where you come in at as far as stirring. Okay, and it's kind of thick too, so it's gonna need a little bit of your help. Of course, when you add it with that sauce over there, it'll balance itself out. So sometimes if you look at it, you say, well, it might not be the texture I want. remember, all you need to do is add more oil. And you add the oil is what's going to give it, see, that texture, that thick texture, thick creamy texture comes from the oil. It comes from fats, okay? And remember, it's nothing wrong with good fats, ladies. I know we're concerned about our weight. Believe it or not, if you eat healthy, you have no problem. Good fats are good for you. So you can get quite a bit of this in during the week. I mean, I still eat quite a bit, honestly. And it doesn't even affect me like that. I mean, not saying it won't. You can overdo it, but you know you have to know your body and pay attention to your body and kind of see the signs. If you're having skin breakouts, skin irritations, stuff like that, that's your skin. That's your body letting you know, okay, I got too many toxins in the body. So it needs to get out. It's letting you know that. So that's when you need to add more green juices in your diet. Or your life, you know, what you eat, you know, for dinner, add it in for breakfast. You just up your green juices until things balance out. You'll notice your bowels and everything will start increasing. And you'll go to the bathroom more, and then after a while you'll be balanced out, and you just, you know, be careful after that, and that's all. Your body lets you know how much you can handle. Yeah, it's interesting how nature works because it communicates in different ways. We just have to pay attention. Okay, so that's it right there. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and blend it some more on high. I let it blend for quite a while because one thing about this blender I do want to say, of course it's a Vitamix blender, but if you hold it on there for a while, it actually can make soups and stuff too. So it'll actually give it a little bit of heat to it without you having to put it on the stove. I say if you blend it for about a good 6 minutes, it'll do what the heat on the stove would do to a soup. So you can kind of use judgment and determine how warm you want it or whatever. You can go as long as you need to go for however hot you want it. And so you'll see the flavor is really deep in here. You can tell by how it looks. So the Cajun season and everything is really going through here pretty well, but you notice I'm still mixing things in real good. I mean, if you move fast, you can get it done quickly. Okay, now that I have all of my seasonings in, I have everything blended up real well, I'm gonna let y'all see the texture of this cheese sauce. Okay, y'all can see the color of it. It's real dark orange, like a burnt orange color. So what we're gonna do, I'm sorry, is add this in to this mixture over here. And you always want to try to keep your kitchen area as clean as possible and clear, so that way you can be able to maneuver in here and not get frustrated. You can get a lot more done too, just laying things out, so you can just kind of have the next step ready. Okay, so now I'm going to pour this in here. As you notice, I'm pouring it into the other mixture. And you know this white mixture that I've already created, y'all remember, that was only a portion of the cheese sauce that we started with. So now you're adding a thicker portion in with the thinner portion. And of course, you see the color of that versus this, so it's going to make it an even lighter color orange, which will be closer to what the cheese sauce will look like. Yeah, if you can work as smart as possible in the kitchen, that's the key. You can do more than one thing at a time. Like while this is baking for 45 minutes, which we're going to bake it in the oven for 45 minutes. So that means what I'm going to do is before I mix this up, I'm going to cut my oven on. I'm going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. So that way, by the time I get over here with the macaroni and cheese and everything, all the ingredients will go in here. Of course, this pan, if you follow me, so this pan, this clear pan, is how much this would make right here. It may be a little bit extra. If I ever have extra cheese sauce, anything left, I just store it in the refrigerator or freezer and thaw it out and reuse it. I prefer not to put it in the freezer because of the texture, but if you have no other choice, you can use that same mixture, put it back in the blender, and add more to it from there. Just kind of know your measurements and you'll be fine. So, where am I? Okay. I'm going to use my whisk for this. So I'm going to go grab my whisk in one moment. But meanwhile, I'm going to get the rest of this cheese sauce out because I do not want to waste. Okay? And that's the key. We want to waste as less as possible. So that way you can save yourself not only money, but you can get a lot more out of it. Okay, as you notice here, of course, I added the thicker sauce, of course, with the previous amount of sauce, which was the thinner portion. It's all the same. Remember, you're just adding in the seasoned portion with the pretty much unseasoned portion. I just had the garlic powder in it. with the coconut milk. I'm gonna take the whisk eventually and do it, and you know, show y'all how to do it with the whisk. But I like to get the bulk of it out the way with a spoon if I can, and then the whisk will come in handy. Take this. This is why I don't use the spoon too much. I just do just enough to kind of get it mixed in a little bit. All right. And if you see here, I still have about a half a cup of oil left, so that's gonna go inside the mixture also, if I need it. All right. So this is cut pretty good right there. You can whisk from there. Okay, and I'm gonna sit this in the sink. Be ready to rinse that off in a few minutes. I just want to keep moving so around and hold y'all up. What y'all have to do. Okay, so we're gonna mix it in real quick. And catch it around the edges. So where you get all of the mixture in, and you go all the way around until you see the texture and the not only the texture, but the color you want. You want to see everything blended in together. You pretty much blending with your hands. This is what a whisk does. Okay. Okay, you see that nice texture. Okay. You can even go around the edges like that to speed things up. It's almost there. It's almost there. So I'll just come on and catch the edges. Okay. Now, next step. Let's work my hands off a little bit. Alright, next step is you're going to add the egg replacer over here to the macaroni noodles. Okay, I'm catching that last. Alright, I'm going to sit this in the sink. And remember, I have my gloves on for a reason. Not only is it sanitary, but at the same time, we're going to mix all of these noodles in with the sauce. And you're almost done after that. After this, you're going to put it in the oven, and that'll be the next step we will go over. So 1 tablespoon, you notice 1 tablespoon so far is what I'm going with. I want to go with 3 tablespoons. 1, 2. This is what helps bind everything together. Remember, this is the egg replacer made from garbanzo beans and chia seeds. So it's going to bind things together naturally, and you'll be fine. So got that in there. The next step is to pour the cheese sauce in. Now, you're pouring it in there. And as you can see, I may have a little bit extra left, so I'm going to start with that amount first. So I'm going to mix it all in here. All right. And as you can see, it's very creamy. That's what you want. Okay, you're mixing in that egg replacer. And as I said, I may have some extra cheese sauce, looks like, left over. So I'll take this, blend it in real good. And from here, I actually wouldn't add any more oil. I wouldn't. I'm looking at the texture and everything. And if you want it, like I said, a little more oily, that would be fine. But remember, okay, y'all, we are almost done. Okay, this is the last 2 steps right here. These are the last 2 steps. So what I'm gonna do is take some of that oil that I had left over. Instead of putting it in the macaroni and cheese sauce, I'm gonna go ahead and just pour a little bit into my pan. So that way it coats the pan so the macaroni and cheese is not sticking. You notice, that's about all I need right there. And as y'all can see, it wasn't much at all. I say maybe about 4 tablespoons of oil should coat the pan good enough. Just enough so it won't stick. That's all you need. Because remember, even though it's good fats, you can still overdo it. So just enough to get me by. Alright, so I'm gonna come up here. Alright, my oven is preheated at 350 degrees. Remember, you're gonna bake it for 45 minutes, and we'll come back after pouring the sauce in. And so that way y'all can see the end result. And at the very end is where we're going to add our toppings. Okay, our garnish is what they call it. Okay, I'm just pouring this sauce with the noodles inside of this pan. Okay, almost there. And of course, you want more, you can always double the ingredient amount and just put it in a bigger pan, so that way you still get the same flavor. If you need to cut it in half, cut the measurements in half, you'll still get the same flavor. Just cut it in half and put it in a smaller pan. And then I'm just going to take actually the same spoon and just, see how I'm gliding, just making sure I blend everything, or rub it in well, or whatever you call it, glide across the top, whatever whatever words you want to use, get it right, So we'll go ahead and just get the corners real good, because however you bake it, remember, it's gonna come out pretty much looking like that. As far as not this wetness and all that stuff in there, you know what I'm saying? But it's gonna have like, it's gonna look even if you make it even. Okay, so we're gonna make it even. It's pretty even. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put this in there. Go ahead and add it in the oven. Wipe my finger off so they don't even have that oil on there. So anyway, I'm gonna put it in here. And then what I want y'all to know too, there's a recipe, a quick 10-minute recipe, actually, for the sharp cheddar, vegan sharp cheddar cheese on top. And I'm gonna incorporate that in this video also. So you see it's in there. You wanna place it in the middle. Notice how I placed it in the middle. I have my light on. I believe my oven light is on. Yep, it's on. And that way you can keep an eye on it. 45 minutes, you start it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start on that recipe for the sharp cheddar on top. And that's gonna have to freeze for 45 minutes to an hour. So by the time this is done, that'll be done at the same time. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, y'all, what we're gonna do now is it's the perfect time to actually work on the vegan sharp cheddar block cheese, which only takes about 10 minutes to create and throw together. And of course, you got to give it about 45 minutes to an hour in the freezer as your vegan macaroni and cheese is still baking for the whole 45 minutes to an hour it takes to cool down and bake. Okay, so from this point on, what we'll do is I want to mention to y'all the extra cheese sauce that was left over from that vegan baked macaroni and cheese that I was talking about. This is a great cheese sauce dip for the blue corn chips, which of course blue corn chips are the original corn chips that we can have. So this will be a great combination, and you can use the leftover cheese sauce for this recipe right here. And it's very good for snacking. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move the herbs and spices that are in this recipe. You'll get the full benefit from them because they're not going to be cooked. They're actually going to be, in here live and raw, so you get the fresh nutrition from it. Anything that the benefits that it has to offer, you'll get it complete nutrition from that, okay? Because it has not been cooked. Okay, so I want to stress that. Now what we do is we'll go right into vegan sharp cheddar block cheese. So we got the pine nut cheese sauce is what it's really called. It's like a pine nut block sharp cheddar cheese. You can use any type of nuts you like, cashews or what have you, but I chose to go with pine nuts because it's more real as far as it's non-hybridized. Okay, so it's the original, one of the original nuts here, pine nuts. Okay, so we'll start here with 1 cup of that. You have also, as you can see, the tahini butter. I go with that a lot. Instead of peanut butter, I use tahini butter made from sesame seeds. Right here's a 1/4 cup of that. Then you'll come on down to your sea salt. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt here. Pink Himalayan sea salt. You can use Celtic sea salt, any different form of sea salt, it'll be fine. Then you have your onion powder, which I have one teaspoon here. And then you come on down, have granulated garlic. That's 1 tablespoon. And then you come over here. This is your garlic powder. And this is 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. And you have 2 tablespoons of your onion powder. Instead of using nutritional yeast, I go with the garlic powder and the onion powder. Okay, and as a substitute. Now I have lemon juice here. It's 6 tablespoons of lemon juice. Okay, of course, lemon juice is very good for alkaline the body, keeping it from getting acidic, helping with nausea. It's kind of like sour. It does have an alkaline effect to the body. So it's very good for different conditions also. So if you come over here, you'll notice that you have what you call the avocado oil, which we discussed earlier in the previous video with the vegan macaroni and cheese. Okay, so that's in there also. So I use 2 tablespoons of that here. And then you have the carrots here. This is 6 tablespoons of carrots, which will give that cheese the color that you need. You want that orange color like cheese. And that's why you'll be. And of course, you get the vegetable benefit from the carrots. The carrots are always good for the eyes. Vitamin A, very good for the immune system. Different parts of the body. Now that that's all covered, you see here we have millet flour, which is one of the most alkaline grains that you can find. And which I did. I already mentioned the sea salt, so we went over that before. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead into the millet flour. Millet flour is an alkaline grain that I like to go with. Of course, it's one of the most alkaline grains that there is, one of the most original grains that there is, and of course you can see it's stone ground. And of course I like this brand also, Bob's Red Mill. He has a really good pure brand that I like. So all right, so we're gonna go with 2 teaspoons of your flour. but I'm going to work out of the bag on that. And then right here, you notice the smoked paprika. We'll go with a 1/4 teaspoon of that. And that'll be all you need for this recipe. And we'll go ahead and get started, okay? Okay. And one more thing, I'm sorry, 1 cup of water. That's what we'll add in this. All right, so I'm going to put this to the side, and I'm going to add my pine nuts in. And notice that this recipe does not take long at all. Okay, I'm going to drop that in. Again, I say you don't have to blend it long, just until it gets to the texture you want. And I'm going to add my salt in last, I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do my tahini butter. So make sure I got that there. So you pretty much add your fats in first. Try to keep everything together. Alright, so. Alright, we're almost done. Alright, now I'm going to put that to the side. After that, I'm going to add my powders in, onion powder. Okay, and set it to the side. Alright. Next thing I want to do is the granulated garlic. So I'm going quickly. Alright. Alright. Then you have your, let's see here, garlic powder. Yeah, garlic powder here, I'm sorry. 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. This is your nutritional yeast replacement here. Alright. Alright, next is the garlic powder. 2 tablespoons of that. Okay, equal measurements of this gives you the nutritional yeast flavor. It does the same thing, but without the yeast. So there we go. So we got that in there. Next, I'm gonna add the paprika. All your powders are going in, and then your flour will go in. All right. So actually, sorry about that, y'all. I used to just use a cup. Sometimes I remember. This makes it a lot easier, so that way your measurements are actually right on point. They're exactly correct. This way you do this. So sometimes I'll just open the. Let's see here. Right there for a minute. I'll open the top just to get it to come out a lot easier. Set that to the side. And sometimes I like to work with a paper towel too instead of a rag, especially if you know you're gonna be wasting stuff on it every once in a while, like myself. All of us, we get in the kitchen and we get a little crazy sometimes. But I'm joking. But no. So now I got the paprika in there, and just keeps your rag clean. So. Okay, use as needed. And then I'll go ahead and drop my carrots in. Okay. And then your lemon juice and your oil. Go ahead and get a spoon for this. Y'all. One second, I'm gonna get my millet powder in there too. So set that to the side. Millet flour. Just like the powder. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop my sea salt in there now. And then the lemon juice. And then the water, and then since I did not do my flour yet, I'm going to add that in quickly. And then my water, okay, which you're going to drop inside of the blender. Notice I'm just pouring it in quickly, okay. And then millet flour. So this is going to be like 2 teaspoons of millet flour. 1 teaspoon and 2 teaspoons there. Okay. Notice I like to clean as we go, so I'm gonna drop the stuff in the sink, start blending, and we'll get right to it. Okay, so I'm gonna cut it up a little bit, not too much. Okay, you'll notice the texture is a lot thicker than the cheese sauce from earlier because this is gonna be going on top. So when you actually put it in the freezer, you want it to come out like a block. And y'all will notice that the container that I'm using is actually going to set it up to come out like a block. So that way all I have to do is cut it, slice it, and put it on top of the mac and cheese, put it back in the oven once you pull it out, and it's going to melt everything evenly across the top. Okay, so what I like to do now, you'll notice that also the color that it is not as a deep of an orange I like, the orange color that I like to have. But if I want more of the orange color, just add a little bit more paprika, not much. And that'll darken the color just a little bit. So notice I'm gonna add about, I'm kind of gonna use judgment on this. Yeah, that's about a 1/2 teaspoon. So I'm gonna add that, blend a little bit more. First I'm gonna stir it first so we can kind of keep moving. But you'll notice, I want you to see the texture. It's a lot thicker. So when it freezes, it's like I said, it's gonna be just like a sharp cheddar block. And you can even see the color starting to change as I turn it into an orange color. So as you can see, the paprika, it helps give it that color that we need. So I'm gonna go ahead and crank the juicer back, the blender, I'm sorry, back up. Right now I think I'm gonna get a juice in. I'm thinking about juicing. It's okay. Okay, so that's a nice orange color. So I can sit this down, blend it quickly. Okay, see how I gave that a pretty good run on that one to make sure all of the seasons and everything get blended in really well. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and stir in the rest because it's not much around the edges that has to go in there. So you don't even have to blend the rest in there since it's not gonna affect anything. It's not much at all. It's okay. So now I am going to put this inside and I'm actually gonna rinse this spoon off quickly. And we'll spoon out the rest of the ingredients. And you probably can get about 2 containers out of this. I'll look at the measurement amount so y'all know how much it is. Actually, this is about a little over 20 ounces of cheese. So what we're gonna do is see how much I can fit in here. Because I always just know that it always fits in here, so, and it makes a perfect block. So I'll take this, put it in the container. You see that creamy texture? You cannot beat it. It's gonna come out, believe it or not, it's gonna be very melted on the top of that macaroni and cheese whenever we put it on top after it freezes. I use a small container because, the smaller the container, the quicker things freeze. So I'll create more than one container so that way I can get a quicker freeze on it instead of using such a big container. Okay, and this right here is what this recipe is what we're about to use in a few minutes or in 45 minutes once the macaroni and cheese is actually done. And it takes 15 minutes to cool down. So you're talking about exactly an hour is what this should take to freeze. And of course that would depend on your levels of freezer levels, whether they be high or low or what have you. But one more thing I want to mention to y'all. If y'all can, please check out my video on called On the Hunt. It's On the Hunt series. It's teaching everyone pretty much where I get a lot of my supplies from, whether it be farmers markets, which stores have the best prices. Keep up with me. And it's right here on A New Taste Healthy Kitchen series, the vegan soul food, 6-part, Louisiana style, Creole style, New Orleans style mac and cheese. Thank you. Hello y'all, welcome back. What we're doing now is we just cut into the vegan sharp cheddar block cheese. This is what it looks like whenever it comes out of the freezer, and of course I gave it about 5 minutes to thaw a little bit. So that way all I would do is I cut it into slices, and this is how I'll layer it across the macaroni and cheese. And what we'll do is we'll bring you right back to A New Taste whenever the macaroni and cheese is finished, and you'll see the finished product, and then we'll go from there. Peace. Okay, as y'all can see, with the same block cheese, and of course we discussed the recipe earlier, and an hour later I just took it out of the freezer, and this is what we have here, the finished results of the vegan sharp cheddar block cheese. So all I did was I took a portion out of the container and I put it on top of the macaroni and cheese. Like I said, I let it melt a little bit, so you can put it on as blocks on top in slices, or you can just, of course, rub it in, or smear it across the top is what I did. And then from this point I'll put it in the oven for about 2 to 3 minutes, and it'll be melted on top. And then you'll put your garnish on top, which is your parsley flakes and your smoked paprika, and that'll be all. You can use fresh parsley too if you like.